I've taken listing photos of many beautiful homes in this neighborhood, and if character and location matter more to you than new construction, this one's for you. This is a full pros and cons breakdown of living in Beaverdale, one of the oldest and most loved neighborhoods in Des Moines, Iowa. We'll cover the history, the famous brick homes, the prices, the walkable business district, the schools, and the trade-offs of buying a 100-year-old house. In a metro full of brand new master planned suburbs and built from scratch town centers, Beaverdale is the opposite of all of it. This is a neighborhood of 100-year-old brick homes, tree-lined streets, and a walkable little business district tucked inside the city of Des Moines, about 10 minutes from downtown. People here don't just like their houses, they're a little obsessed with them. And it's one of the few places in the metro where you can buy a home full of character and history you can't build new, at a price the suburbs can't touch. Let's get into what it actually looks like to live in Beaverdale. So where is Beaverdale? It sits in northwest Des Moines, and it's the largest of the city's 51 recognized neighborhoods, 143 blocks in all. It runs from Meredith Drive on the north down to Forest Avenue on the south, and from 30th Street on the east out to 48th Place on the west. Laid out on a simple grid of quiet residential streets with a small, concentrated business district down Beaver Avenue at its heart. It's a true in-city neighborhood, about 10 minutes from downtown Des Moines, a few minutes from Drake University, and pretty darn close to Merle Hay Mall and the suburb of Urbandale. That location is a big part of the appeal. You get a walkable, established neighborhood feel, but you're still inside the city and close to everything, instead of way out on the edge of the metro. Now the homes, because this is what Beaverdale is famous for. The star is the Beaverdale Brick, a Tudor revival home built with a distinctive multicolored textured brick you won't find anywhere else. These houses have character baked into every detail. Arched doorways, rounded top front doors with big iron locks and old skeleton keys, leaded glass windows, hardwood floors, plaster walls, built-in cabinets, and a fireplace. Owners love them so much that when a front door wears out, the neighborhood's advice is to repair it, not replace it. Alongside the brick Tudors, you'll find colonial revivals, Cape Cods, cottages, and 1.5-story bungalows, most built between the 1920s and the 1940s. And here's something people don't expect, because there's such a range of homes and sizes. Beaverdale works for a wide range of budgets. You'll find smaller cottages and starter-sized homes at the more affordable end, classic brick Tudors in the middle, and larger, fully updated showpieces at the top. It's not a one-price neighborhood, which is a big part of why so many different buyers can find a way in. A heads up though, character comes with quirks. The kitchens can be tiny, the closets tinier, and the layouts reflect how people lived a century ago. You're buying craftsmanship and charm, not open concept and walk-ins. Here's how it all started. Back in the 1800s, this was the rural western edge of Des Moines. Fruit orchards and truck farms crossed by an old dirt stagecoach route called the Fort Dodge Stage Road. In 1903, that road was renamed Beaver Avenue. And here's a fun twist on the name. This whole northwest section of Des Moines used to be called Urbandale until 1917, when the suburb next door officially took that name for itself. So the neighbors got together and picked a new one, Beaverdale. As streetcars connected the area to downtown, the farms gave way to houses, and most of the neighborhood was built out between 1920 and 1940. A lot of it right after the Great Depression, when new federal mortgage programs made owning a home possible for far more people. The homes Beaverdale is known for came a little later. In 1938, a local contractor named E.T. McMurray started building those now famous Beaverdale brick homes and the style stuck. That brick wasn't just a building material, it became the neighborhood's signature. A multicolored, patterned look turned ordinary houses into little landmarks. And to this day, a Beaverdale brick is a phrase every realtor in the metro knows. The neighborhood history is a point of pride. It's listed on the National Registry of Historic Places, and in 2017, it celebrated its 100th birthday. You can even see that pride painted on the wall. There's a 116-foot Beaverdale mural on the side of a shop on Beaverdale Avenue. Not many neighborhoods have their own mural. Let's talk price. Beaverdale is one of the most in-demand neighborhoods in Des Moines proper, and the numbers show it. A typical home here sells for a solid premium over the average Des Moines home, and it sells fast, often in a matter of days. But here's the key comparison and the reason so many buyers land here. Compared to the brand new western suburbs, your Waukees, Urbandale, Clive, and Ankeny on the north, Beaverdale is a relative bargain. You're getting an established, walkable, in-city neighborhood with 100 years of character for less than the price of new construction on the edge of the metro. The trade you're making is age for value. You pay up to be in Beaverdale versus other city neighborhoods, but you pay less than you would for a new house out west. For a lot of buyers, that trade is exactly the point. A quick word on where to look, because Beaverdale isn't all the same. Most of it is laid out on that classic grid, but two pockets, Maryland Park and Ashby Manor, stand out for their winding, curved streets and extra attention to setting. Closer to Beaver Avenue, you're within walking distance of the shops and restaurants, which is the whole dream for a lot of people. But it comes with a bit more activity and traffic. Toward the quieter edges, you trade some of that walkability for calm. And homes near the parks, Ashby, Beaverdale, and Whitmer, tend to be especially prized. And because the neighborhood covers 143 blocks, the price and the feel shift as you move through it. The blocks closest to the business district and the parks tend to command the most, while the outer edges can run a little more affordable. There's more range here than in a typical subdivision, which is good news if you're patient. Figure out whether walking to everything or quiet and tucked away matters more to you before you start touring. Here's what makes Beaverdale different from just about any neighborhood in the metro. And it's not a new arena or a shiny town center, it's that you can't build this. Everything the new suburbs are trying to create from scratch, walkability, a main street, mature trees, a tight-knit community, homes with character, Beaverdale already has, and has had for 100 years. The trees are full grown. The business district wasn't built last year to look charming. It's been there for generations. The community pride isn't manufactured. There's an active neighborhood association, a beloved yearly festival, and neighbors who actually know each other. Developers spend hundreds of millions trying to bottle this feeling in a cornfield. In Beaverdale, it's just there. And the reason you can't fake it is simple. It takes time. A new development can plant trees, but can't make them 50 feet tall. It can build a main street, but it can't give it decades of regulars and history. It can pour sidewalks, but it can't manufacture neighbors who looked out for each other for generations. That's why a place like this holds its value. The supply is fixed. Nobody is building another Beaverdale. That authenticity is the whole product, and it's the one thing money can't build new. A little on the culture, because Beaverdale has an identity all its own. The biggest event of the year is the Beaverdale Fall Festival, a weekend of live music, food, and a parade that draws people from across the metro, put on by that active neighborhood association. It's grown into one of the biggest neighborhood festivals in the metro, the kind of event that packs Beaver Avenue and turns the whole area into a block party for a weekend. And the festival isn't the only thing that pulls the place together. The neighborhood association here is one of the most active in the city, running events, looking out for the historic homes, and protecting the character that makes Beaverdale, Beaverdale. There's the 116-foot mural celebrating the neighborhood, the weekly farmers market, and the Beaverdale Brick itself, which has become a little symbol of Des Moines. The neighborhood is on the National Register of Historic Places and just passed its 100th birthday. Put it all together and you get something rare in a metro full of brand new suburbs, a place with deep roots, a strong identity, and a real feeling of home. Beaverdale itself is mostly residential. So let's talk about what's around it, because the location is one of the biggest strengths. You're roughly 10 minutes from downtown Des Moines and all the jobs there. Drake University is right next door. One of the area's largest employers, a major Veterans Affairs hospital campus, sits just at the edge of the neighborhood. And you're a couple minutes from Merle Hay Mall, which is in the middle of its own big redevelopment. For getting around, you've got quick access to the rest of the metro, plus the Des Moines Trail Network runs right through. You can hop on a bike and ride all the way out to Saylorville Lake or down to Grays Lake near downtown. Central, connected, and close to everything is the total theme. Beaverdale is an established, settled community. The median age here runs a good bit older than the young new suburbs, and about 3 out of 4 residents own their homes rather than rent. It's a well-educated neighborhood with over half of adults holding a college degree and household incomes that sit comfortably in the middle. What defines the place, though, isn't a statistic. It's the mix. You've got longtime residents who've been here for decades right next to newer buyers who fell in love with a brick Tudor, all sharing a deep sense of pride in the neighborhood. People don't just move to Beaverdale. They tend to stay. You'll meet people who grow up here and move back as adults, and people who bought their first place here and just never left. That low turnover is rare, and it's a big reason the neighborhood feels so stable and well cared for. Day-to-day life in Beaverdale centers on that walkable business district along Beaver Avenue. You can stroll to a classic malt shop, Snooki's is a neighborhood institution, grab Italian at Christopher's, or meet friends at the Dam Pub. You can also hit a coffee shop or a boutique. Picture a Saturday, coffee and a walk to the farmer's market, an afternoon in the park, and dinner on a patio a few blocks from your front door. No highway, no 20-minute drive. There's a weekly farmer's market in season and more than 50 acres of parks scattered throughout the neighborhood. Ashby Park alone has a playground, a splash pool, tennis and pickleball courts, and a nature trail. Add in the trail connections for biking, and it's an easy, low-key, get outside kind of lifestyle. It's not flashy. It's the kind of place where you know your barista and run into people you know at the market. Let's talk about the pros. First, and it's the headline, the character. These are 100-year-old brick homes with craftsmanship and detail you cannot get in new construction, on streets shaded by full-growth trees. Second, walkability. An established business district, shops, restaurants, coffee, a malt shop, right in the neighborhood on foot. Third, location. You're in the city, about 10 minutes from downtown, close to Drake, the VA campus, and Merle Hay, and plugged into the trail network, not stranded on the edge of the metro. Fourth, value relative to the suburbs. You get all of that character and location for less than the price of a new build out west. Fifth, community. An active neighborhood association, a famous fall festival, and a level of neighborhood pride you rarely see anywhere. Sixth, demand. Beaverdale homes are wanted. They hold their value and they sell fast, which protects your investment when it's your turn to sell. Now the trade-offs. And with 100-year-old homes, there are several. First, upkeep. Old houses need old house work. Brick that needs repointing, aging roofs and windows, and mechanical systems that may be near the end of their life. Just depends on what the previous owner took care of. Budget for it and get through a thorough inspection. Second, the layouts are dated. Tiny kitchens, small closets, and choppier floor plans are the norm. If your must-have is open concept with a giant island and walk-in closets, these homes, probably not for you. Third, small lots. City lots here are modest with tight side yards. If you want acreage or a big private yard, this isn't it. Fourth, the schools take homework. Beaverdale is part of Des Moines Public Schools, a large urban district, not a single, tidy, top-rated suburban system. Look closely at the specific schools and the open enrollment options for any address before you buy. There are several elementary options in and around the neighborhoods, plus private and parochial schools nearby. You just have to research the specific options rather than assume, the way you might in a one-district suburb. Fifth, city costs and older home surprises. Property taxes and rising insurance on an older brick home can add up. Run the full monthly number, not just the mortgage. Sixth, it moves fast. Good Beaverdale homes get multiple offers and sell in days. You'll need to be pre-approved and ready to move quickly, sometimes above asking. So who is Beaverdale right for? A few kinds of buyers. If you take character, charm, and history over brand new every single time, if a 100-year-old brick Tudor speaks to you more than a builder-grade box, this is your neighborhood. If you want to live in the city, close to downtown and walkable to shops and restaurants, instead of out on the suburban edge, Beaverdale delivers that. And if you love the idea of an established, tight-knit community with its own identity, and you're willing to trade a big modern kitchen for craftsmanship and location, you'll fit right in. Who might want to look elsewhere? If your priority is a brand new home, an open concept layout, a big yard, or a single top-rated suburban school district, the western suburbs will suit you better. But if what you want is a home with soul, in a neighborhood with 100 years of it, Beaverdale is hard to beat. I'm working my way through every corner of the Des Moines Metro, just like this. The history, the numbers, the upsides, and the trade-offs. If you're trying to figure out where to plant roots, subscribe and follow along. There's a lot more of the Metro on the way. Got a question about Beaverdale? Drop it in the comments and I'll answer it. And we'll see you on the next one.